Well, hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Ascension Playground. This is your friend Ursi. 2025 is off to a really amazing start with so much underway with change, with dissolution, with old structures coming down. Now, whichever way you may fall politically, from an astrological lens or a time of shifting from one age to the next, for at least the past several years, many astrologers have been telling us this is coming, this is coming. You know, Uranus revolution and Pluto evolution, major transformations. And now what we're seeing is a planetary parade in the heavens. Um, it is amazing. So the idea of pencils down, now is the time for each of us to start putting in practice everything we've learned. It's huge. This moment of now is really asking each of us, do you know thyself? Can you sit well? And no matter what happens, whether it's within your body, within your family, within your children or grandchildren, when things change and shift, if there's a way, like Pam Gregory says, to stay on the eagle's perch, and some part of us just trying to stay as a witness. So much of what we're going through, in my opinion, is a simple statement. It's moving from polarity and duality from the Piscean age into much more of a super galactic consciousness, into a galactic consciousness, into an idea of the quantum self or the multidimensional self. Many of us have heard of the human bodies shifting from carbon-based and moving now into a diamond-based kind of light being, from Homo sapien, human being, to Homo luminous. So whatever that means, we just hold this idea, and so it is. Yes, claiming that's what it is. And as many of the Tibetan teachers have shared, and this too shall pass. So on the Ascension Playground, for me, the joy has been over the last couple of years to share what I've been learning. And now more so, it feels that I'm wanting to make a shift into creating experiences, whether they're, hey, find your 12 star families and place yourself at the center, or the idea of creating a soul collage before the astrological calendar of March. So whatever that might be, I just thought I'd share that and put this message out onto the playground. So if you're needing to hear that, great. I'm reminding myself, being completely human, I might be well, but those around me and in my circle, I still get shocked when someone leaves the planet. Like beautiful Robert Gilbert with the Vesica Institute. I met him, I think, about 5 or 6 years ago. He came to Sacramento, California, and was teaching classes on, Ibrahim Karim's studies and findings with BG3. So I'm always wearing, my BG3. This is a ring that I wear to help balance all of my organs. I have a medallion and an L pin. So he's bringing back, through Ibrahim Karim and Robert Gilbert, they paired up to help remind us of what we already knew in the ancient Egyptian times of how to bring the body back into balance. It's through sometimes these glyphs. Anyway, I just wanted to say hi. I'm here. You're not alone. Feel free if you want to leave a comment. I'm very open to creating new content and going forward. I did want to give you a little taste test, though, as I've done some readings recently. And so the idea of having a galactic astrology reading where we open up your soul records and look from an astrological lens, not just at adding our sun, which his name is soul, but also the other stars that were active during the moment of your birth. This is metaphoric. This is archetypal energy. But if you take the idea that the planets, Earth, and the stars are all in some ways living consciousness, living beings, having a particular sonic wave of vibration or sound. And at the moment of your physical birth, that your cosmic portrait is going to be filled in a little bit more when you bring in the stars to understanding who you truly are. For me, it's been an incredible awakening to see when I meet with many of you in one-on-one sessions in Zoom. Here, I'll give you a sample test. Let's see. If you decide to take a deep dive with me, this is opening up the records. And a deep dive is usually an hour and a half to sometimes 2 hours, where we do open up your galactic Akash, all for the idea of your expansion into this idea of I am a soul having a human experience, right? So we know intuitively and instinctively that we are more than just what this form is showing us in 3D. So doing the records for a deep dive, and I have a blog that I'll put in my information below if you want to contact me for a reading. I have limited space available, but if you're interested, take a look. I first do look at your Western astrology to anchor you into what was the 3D human incarnation soul agreement? Like, what was it that you're here to do? We'll look then at the galactic aspects. What lessons perhaps did you bring into this lifetime that you wanted to help bring into balance and learn from? In other words, let's say you're on Lyra and this beautiful Lyra constellation, one of its many stars, and you're still learning about boundaries and how to stand up for yourself and, letting go and releasing any codependency. And codependency can be a little sneaky. Sometimes you think you're helping someone, where that old adage with Al Anon is don't do for the other what the other can do for themselves. That's a huge lesson, especially if you're a parent. So we open the galactic soul records and I look at what was your origin star? What was your most recent lifetime here in this particular galaxy? What's your life purpose? We'll look at the natal nodes and see if there's a star that's adding its light and brilliance to help guide you in this lifetime. Working, of course, with the trines, which are natural gifts that you came fully loaded with. We'll take a peek at a few of them, as well as some of the squares in your galactic astrology to see what were the challenges within you that you brought forward. And then I usually offer a little summary. So this is just a little taste test of, what is it to have a reading? There are many, I think there's over 70 now around the world certified galactic astrology practitioners. So in the link below, you can go check out which one might be in your time zone, which one's energy matches yours. So I'm just giving you a little taste test of how I begin a reading. On this page, I typically talk about here's the James Webb Telescope image that came out about 2 years ago. When this telescope, which is so powerful, was able to bring back the images of stars, so many stars. Do you see the heavens? The technology is allowing us to see what has always been there. We think it's new. It's new for us, but on a soul level, we're much more aware that these stars have been there. And the little smudges that we see, those aren't stars. Those are other galaxies. So this idea of awakening to what is it that your soul orchestrated with others whom you typically reincarnate with. If you know this thought or have had this thought that we typically reincarnate with specific soul groups, there's some switching around. And one time, maybe I'll be the protagonist. The next lifetime, I'll come back as the antagonist. So whether I'm the quote unquote good guy or bad guy, male or female or other, That's not really the issue. The issue is how to expand. And when we look at the record, sometimes there's so much activity and so much depth in a chart that it has to point to either an ancient soul or a soul who has had so many earthly lifetimes. They're still here. They're still helping guide and expand themselves, but also to guide others. It's really quite fulfilling. You can see how much I light up when I talk about galactic astrology. It's something that is near and dear to my heart. When I do painting, I typically like to think about, what wants to be channeled through me. It's not coming from my mind, but it's allowing my heart to go forward and paint. And when I don't feel like painting, I don't. So it's this idea that being gentle with the flow, and when you start learning about the supergalactic center, the galactic center, and other supracosmic points, it's pretty interesting to see. You can almost chart and see when you might be superpowered to have some highly potent co-creative activities. Well, thank you again for joining me on the playground. It's a delight. You'll keep me coming back with your encouragement. So go ahead and encourage me by leaving a comment, subscribing, or liking. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you next time on the Ascension Playground. Bye for now.